So we're mid-season and your defense is struggling. Listen, I've been there and man, is it painful. Well, I got 7 tips for you that could help you shore things up.
We're not going to get a second chance in the game.
Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here and thankful you're here to watch this video. So your defense is struggling, huh? Well, how do I know that? Well, you clicked on the video. I mean, the guys who are shutting everybody out right now certainly don't go midweek looking for answers. That's the rest of us, right? I've been there where my teams were struggling and you're really looking frantically everywhere for resources and ideas for how can you start playing some better defense. Because it's painful. Giving up points is painful. Now, there is no one answer, right? I'm just going to give you some tips that could help shore things up here and there. There's no one answer. If there was, well, we would all just do that. Everybody would be playing defense the same way, and nobody would give up any points. But, of course, that's not possible either because nobody would win. Inevitably, you're going to have years where maybe you're less talented, and sometimes you just have to endure those things. But let's look at some ways that could actually help you play better defense. Now, before I jump in, I did just post a new video this week, a mic'd up practice from Moline High School. You can find that link below. I love watching this guy coach. He's full of energy and life. Also, if you like the way that I play ball, the way I've coached, the link to my website is below, and that website just has all the direct links to the video series that I've created over my career. That'll help you play ball, approach the game the way I approach the game. And then lastly, I've linked a video below here in our library from Jake Novotny out in Fountain Fort Carson, Colorado. And that video affected me a ton and affected how we practiced defense a ton. I would highly recommend watching this video, and all of our members can see that. The link is below. So let's go ahead and jump in. Tip number 1 to playing better defense. You have to start here. Don't change your defense. Now, again, these are mid-season changes. In the off-season, you can always look, you do whatever you want, make the new plan for the next year. But mid-season, you're doing yourself a disservice if you change defenses, going from a 4-3 to a 4-4, a 3-4 to a 4-4 in the middle of the season. The reason it hurts you is because one of the number 1 ways to making sure you're playing good defense is to not be misaligned. Well, when you have a new set of rules for alignment from one week to the next, your odds of being misaligned, they go up. Your odds of reading the wrong man, getting the wrong key, they go up. And when we are misaligned and misinformed, now the odds of giving up big plays has gone up. And we've got to eliminate big plays. So I get it, you're struggling, but changing defenses, just aligning the same players in other places, that's not going to fix anything. So stick with your plan that will always give you the best chance possible to play good defense. Tip number 2 is don't change your personnel. Don't be changing positions. When you're struggling, it is so easy to look at film and go, man, that kid's just not a linebacker. Oh man, that kid, we just got to stand him up. He'll be so much better. Although it can be extremely tempting to do that, I recommend not doing that. You just spent however many weeks evaluating your kids and putting them in positions. If you switch them now, all you're going to do is what we alluded to in the first video, which is now something's new for the kid. So your odds of being misaligned, they go up, and your odds of being misinformed by a different key, different rules, different jobs, they go up. And now not only do you have to teach a kid a new alignment, you got to teach him different rules to the game. And although it sounds easy to you in your mind right now, well, just do this, just read this, just go inside on this call and just go outside on this call. It's not as easy as it sounds. You just spent 6 weeks, 8 weeks teaching this job to another kid or teaching this kid a different job. He's 8 weeks invested. Don't lose all that progress that you lost, that you gained when teaching him another position. Keep that progress. You want that progress and you want that learning time on your side. Don't lose what little you have right now defensively. So don't change defenses and don't change the kids' positions. While it may make you feel better during the week and feel more comfortable because you've got a new plan, your odds of playing better defense this next weekend, they have not gone up. They've actually gone down. Tip number 3 is to run less team defense time. Now, this one comes directly from that video that I've linked below by Jake Novotny. Like I said, the way they practice highly affected how we practice, and how you practice is the number one way you can affect the product that you're putting on the field. So while I certainly wouldn't change defenses or change personnel, I could be talked into changing how I'm practicing, because we've got to maximize the time that we are given. Now, the reason I say play less team defense, let's go ahead and just pull up our whiteboard. For the rest of them, we can use some whiteboard time. You know, these 11 kids, these are the best 11 on your team. Now, you coach either at the youth level or the high school level, which means these 11 are not the best 11 on your team. And in most situations, they're not always great football players. They're certainly not as good as the team you're about to see this weekend. And so teaching them to run an offense that isn't their own, it's not what they've been learning, it's just not high. Like, you're not going to get a good look. So team defense time is the least productive defensive time in practice that you're going to have. You get so many wasted plays defensively because you snap the ball to a quarterback and the snap goes over his head or in between his legs, or the handoff gets dropped, or the kid doesn't even run the motion right the way they're going to see it this weekend, or kids are misaligned. You waste so much time when you go to team defense. Now, there are high schools that are pretty big high schools that have a lot of kids and a lot of large coaching staff that can find a way to really operate well during team defense time. But for the bulk of teams, and youth teams certainly, and small high schools, you just are wasting time. Instead, break the game down into parts and spend way more time in parts of the game. So let's look at this for an example, right? Let's say this is an example of a look I'm going to get a lot. We're in a 4-2-5 defense. This is a look I'm expecting this weekend quite a bit, right? A team that runs something like this might give you variations, right? Maybe they're there a lot of times. Maybe they're here a lot of times. Maybe they're in 3-by-1 quite a bit. But notice what didn't change. What didn't change was what I'm seeing right here. So as much as I can this week, I'm going to take it at least 15 to 20 minutes, steal it from team defense, and instead I'm going to have these defenders here together. Maybe I bring that H back. And I'm going to then take my other defenders. Let's give ourselves a little drawing square here. I'm going to take my exterior defenders, my DBs, and we are going to go practice against 2-man route combinations. Maybe I'll take the outside linebacker there for some of it as well. So now here come my safeties and corners, and all of these players are off on one side of the field just practicing seeing 2-man routes. What are some of the most common things we're going to see this weekend? Is it slant wheel? Is it sail, right? A go and a 10-yard out? Is it curl out? What are the combos we're most likely to see? We want to see these on repeat. I'm going to get all these kids as many reps as I can against these route combinations. I can bring another receiver over. We can take a look at 3-man route combinations as well. We're going to spend a lot of time just playing that game. And then while this is going on, these guys in here can just be defending what are the things we're going to see in here. Is it power and counter? Is it inside zone and outside zone? Is it belly G? Is it pin and pull? What are the 3-4 running concepts we're going to see the most this weekend? How do we just show these to these kids repeatedly? And I'm about to give you a tip right now. This is bonus tip. This is the biggest one there is. When you run this part of the drill, do not use a football. Because I just can't imagine that you're running a defense where the football is a key. Like it should be like, hey, you're watching this back, you're watching this lineman, right? You're reading guards or whoever it is. I can't imagine it's ever the ball. If it is the ball, okay, that's part of your defense. I would change that. But you probably have them watching a man. So practice this separately. These guys are all together. Don't use a football and show them on repeat the 4, 5, running play looks they're going to see over and over and over again this weekend. Now you just took 15 minutes. You can just focus in here and focus out here, because when it all comes together anyway, we're all kind of playing our separate game apart from each other. I'm playing what's going on the exterior here, and you guys are playing what's going on in the interior there. So now we just got 15 minutes where we worked on parts of the game. We wasted way less time. We didn't worry about the ball being snapped over people's heads. We didn't worry about whether or not the JV players can execute the offense. We just practiced seeing what we expect to see this weekend and how we're going to react to that quickly. Tip number 4, stop blitzing. Now, it sounds better to just say it as a blanket statement. It's not a blanket statement. I would still blitz some, but I would blitz way less. I really believe with my whole heart, and all of my experience tells me that when you are blitzing, you are hoping, you have your fingers crossed, you're hoping to disrupt. And you will disrupt once in a while. But what happens more often is that you run away from the play, or you run into a mistake. And what happens, instead of stuffing them for a 2-yard loss, is that they pop a 50-yard gain for a touchdown. If you truly want to play better defense this weekend than you did last weekend, simply blitz a little less, read and react, and force the offense to snap the ball again. What kills defenses so often is that we are so frustrated that we can't make stops. We become more and more aggressive, which causes us to make more mistakes, and they score faster. And so now 21-7 turns into 42-7 in a hurry, and 42-7 turns into 63-7. It just happens so fast. So you want them to have to snap the ball again. Stop giving up 5 50-yard gains per game, and instead turn the 50-yarders into 15-yard gains. And that'll happen if you blitz a little less, because your defense has some depth and kids can get to the ball. I might cause less negative plays, but I'm going to allow less 50-yard plays. So you, again, make your choice on who you want to listen to. You could listen to the internet and get on Twitter and listen to guys that tell you to blitz more, or you can listen to a guy who's coached for a long time that says, I've been on some bad teams. You need to make this game shorter. Make them snap it again. Make it take them 4 minutes to score instead of 40 seconds to score. And the game gets closer. And the longer the game can stay close, the better your chances of making something happen late in the game. And maybe we win this one. Tip number 5 is to add some depth to your DBs. Now, this is a very small tip, but I believe it's a big deal. If they used to play at 5, why not play them at 7? If your DBs were playing at 10, why not play them at 11 or 12? It is a small difference. I don't recommend backing up to 15, 20 yards. I don't recommend that. That's just too deep. But give a little more cushion. And here's the reason why. If offensive coordinators look out and they see that you are giving them a lot of room underneath, it encourages play calls that are attacking shallow. And I want to, again, this is a year where we're struggling defensively. I want offensive coordinators to look out there and go, man, they're giving us the shallow stuff. Let's take shots shallow. Again, I want to then tackle you and make you snap it again. I don't want to encourage deep shots. Now, I've had years where we were super talented and hard to score on, where we could challenge you a little bit. But like I said, this is not what this video is about. This is for teams that are struggling. And when you're struggling, you want to encourage shallow things. Make them attack underneath. We want to run and tackle and make them snap it again. So just give them a little bit more cushion. Now, tip number 6 is a huge deal, but it can be hard to teach. In fact, it can be hard to explain. Just make sure your DBs are playing inside out. And the best way to make sure they're playing inside out is to develop this habit. create a drill, and when they read run, they must attack straight ahead first. They must attack straight ahead before they begin to choose a direction. So if you play with one safety, when this ball starts going here to the outside, and this safety began chasing to the outside because he sees it going to the outside, and then that guy starts cutting it back, and it's an easy. In fact, when it's one-on-one and your safety over pursues, it is an easy cutback to beat him vertically. The only way to allow less cutbacks, and this should really be taught for your linebackers as well, but the easiest fix is making sure your DB's coach take time this week for the rest of the season to begin to drill and practice and hold the kids accountable to when they see run, their first steps must come forward. Put a little flat cone or a cone on the ground. They must go to the cone before they begin to travel. Both safeties. If the ball goes this way, they should come straight forward before they bend outward. If the ball goes this way, they should both come straight forward before they begin to chase this way. Stay inside hip of the ball carrier, stay inside hip of the ball carrier, stay inside hip of the ball carrier. That is your best chance. Take away cutbacks. Think more about giving up less big plays. Tip number 7 is to incentivize chasing. It's not necessarily about running a pursuit drill. One of the things that kills defenses, especially as things are going bad, maybe you haven't won many games, is when the play starts going this way and every single defender on this half of the field has stopped chasing the ball. This is extremely common on bad football teams because you're already defeated and you feel like it went the other way, I don't have to chase. But it's yet another thing that contributes to allowing 50-yard gains instead of 15-yard gains. So you've got to come up with a great way to incentivize chasing the ball. Now you could do it with negative reinforcement, right? Anybody not chasing, right? People track loafs, change of speeds you'll hear about coaches track. And then you owe me some amount of workout on Monday. You could do that. Or you could reward chasing, right? I'm looking for, maybe it's donuts the next morning for every time you were doing you took a touchdown saving route, right? These backside players, you got caught taking a touchdown saving route. We're going to reward that. Maybe it's a helmet set. There's ways. But you've got to find a way to incentivize chasing the ball. If I can get 11 players chasing rather than I was having 6 players chase, 7 players chase, even 10, it's just not as good as having 11. You need 11 players chasing. By our human nature, all these guys over here on this half will probably be chasing. It's this back half of guys that is hard to get them to chase, and that's coaching. Put someone in charge of it at practice this week. Who's coaching our backside pursuit? How do we reward it? And how do we hold kids accountable? If we'll chase more, we'll give up less big plays. If you put these 7 things together, there's a good chance you'll play a little bit better defense this Friday night than you did last Friday night. And that, to me, is all you can hope to do when you're mid-season. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to click and check out those extra resources below, or subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. What are some ways that have helped you play better defense mid-season in the past?